Ipswich Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich Buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talk in Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends. And I can see two Richard Mosses on my screen. That is a fucking scary prospect. Two of them on the same show. But welcome. This is the press conference reaction show, the show where we take what was said by the player put before the media and the manager put before the media and anything else media town related, and put the Talking Town flavour opinion on top of it, give you the real hard truth, as they like to be called. We can see the chat is already busy. Tonight on the platform, if you've not yet seen it, you would have missed the F1 live show where we reacted to McLaren's car launch. And I have just scooted from the other studio to this one. We had our away day guide with MK Dons fan Colin. So really worthwhile checking out. Some really good tips for parking, pubs, etc. Look, incredible stuff from Talking Town. So if you do want to become a YouTube member, you can do so via the link in the chat. We do also have a new prediction league this week. I'll mention that now because we've got an MK Dons fan joining us a bit later, so we may not get an opportunity to mention it then. These are the four games. I do beg your pardon. MK Dons versus Ipswich, Carlisle versus Colchester, Burton versus Cambridge, and Norwich versus Manchester City. I didn't want to put the top one and the last one together because while we've got 7,000 fans going to MK, and that should be in its right applauded, fucking Norwich are playing Man City. I mean, I know which one I'd rather be talking to this evening. No disrespect to Aidan, who will be joining us, I'm sure. That's a great start to get off to a guest, that is. Well done, Martin. Right, I'll blend the fever. Lloyd says Norwich getting battered 5-0. Stephen, even if we have in the end left it too late, we have built a foundation. Stephen, me and you spoke about, I'm getting deja vu because you were telling me last year when Cook was in charge, we're setting foundations. I don't want to give up just yet. I want to keep going. I want to keep fighting. But a defeat tomorrow, does that spell the end? Does it spell the end of our playoff hunt? Would it move them too far ahead? But as always, this is the show that takes you from the week to the weekend. So get your beers, pop them. I'm going to be truthful with you tonight. It's a non-alcoholic beer because the pills I'm on I can't be drinking. But it is the weekend officially here. So get popping. And while you're here popping your beer, oh, look at that. While you're here popping your beer, away day beers, they've unleashed 2 new memberships. It's well worth checking out. And if you don't get a membership, it's well worth getting an ITFC Legends pack. So you can drink yourself through the Beat, the Brazil, the Butcher's Bandage. Just reminisce about some top players that we once had. Alcohol-free, just as good. It certainly is, Lloyd. I'm often drinking it. Right, let's bring in our first contributor. It is, of course, the Media Mogul. Matthew Phillips, how are you, my friend?
I think I'm doing better than you. How's the cough?
Oh, yeah, no, not good. That developed this morning.
Yeah.
I've numerous COVID tests, all coming back to me negative.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
Right, a cough is one of the symptoms of tonsillitis.
For everyone who would like to know, Martin's been very bad-tempered this week. Very bad-tempered.
I'm normally quite a patient person. I like to think, anyway.
Yeah, maybe.
Possibly not, but anyway, that's the persona I give. And
you've had a short fuse. You've had a short fuse.
When I'm ill, I've got a short fuse, notoriously short fuse. Like the littlest of things will just piss me off, and I'll just blow. So I may blow tonight, quite frankly.
I look forward to it.
I don't. So
has everyone watched our Craig Forrest show? Did some good news. It was good.
They need to.
I was inspired to find out more about John Lyle, having listened to Craig. So I went onto eBay and found this.
Oh, I've got that. I've got that.
Have you?
Yes. My dad had that. I've got that.
John, see, this was the only book he ever wrote officially, which is about his 34 years at West Ham. So I thought I'd get that. I was pleasantly surprised to see it's the Penguin is the publisher. A publishing house I've earmarked for my own memoir, Diary of a Mogul, coming out soon.
Diary of a never turning up or doing anything but claiming to be the engine. That's going to be a great headline.
I'm pleased you got that book anyway. I mean, it's pretty old. Goes back to 89.
Yes. Well, it was in the bookshop. I have read it a couple of times as a kid, funnily enough. But yeah, I've definitely got it. We could do our own little book club, Matt.
Well, indeed. Well, I would like. It would be nice if someone had written like John Lyle's Ipswich years. Do you know what I mean? You know, taking us up. You know, it's champions, taking us into the Premier League. So much in such a short space of time. Do you know what I mean?
Colin, clear your diary. That's the book, Colin. That's the book. Ben Moore, good mate. Message me on Twitter. Oh, no, I don't know what they're talking about. Matt Stannard loved the Craig Forrest show, and Colin says, "I'll loan that, please." I'll try and find it for you, Colin, or Matt can give it to you once he's finished. But yeah, great man, says Stephen Parry. I want to kick things off with you, Matt, with Dobra, if I may, because Wayne Brown was speaking. I'm on. Yeah, well, this is probably what Wayne Brown really wanted to say when he was asked about him. Who? Oh, him. Yeah. Because obviously we went to Colchester and you were critical of that move. Now, Wayne Brown was speaking to the Colchester Gazette. Now, for context, he's had 7 starts, 4 sub-appearances, 2 goals. But Colchester now have the Paul Jewell syndrome of 6 loans with only 5 allowed in the matchday squad. Wayne Brown said, "We've been active in the window, created a squad that's good enough and big enough to give us a bit of strength in depth, and everyone will be needed. Games come thick and fast, but we've been very active in the window. We've tried to create an environment where there's competition for places, good strength in depth, and we're going to need all the players, though not just through this month, but the end of the season." Now, you were very critical of the move. To me, that sounds like coach speak. Has it been a monumental waste of time? And where are we now with Armando Dobra?
Yeah, massive waste of time. Don't know why he went there in the first place. Because he went and joined a squad of players ditched by Cook. They weren't when he turned up on day one. They weren't going, "How's Paul Cook? How's he getting on?" I'm sure it was a bit of a poisonous atmosphere. So I don't see why that was rubber stamped, and B, why he went in the first place. Far too close. I said to you, I'd rather he'd gone to like Hartlepool somewhere. You know what I mean? Get out of your comfort zone. So yeah, been a massive waste of space. But massive waste of time. Would you even want him in our first 11 at the moment? Would he get anywhere near the first 11? I don't think he would.
Before he left on loan, many were screaming for him to be around the first team. But we've got Stephen Parry saying we know Dob went there because he knew people won't help him. He needed an Indaba type loan.
I mean, fair play to Corey. He's gone to Salford, and fair play to him. Great move.
Yeah. Kyle says Dobra overrated. If he was any good, then he would play every week for them. Lloyd, big waste of time. Only went there to be comfortable because there was people he knew. Good evening, Tux. We missed you this week. But, you know, the stats again, Matt. 7 starts, 4 from the bench, 2 goals. And it's now February.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, I still chuckle at the fact that, you know, myself included, thought most of that Colchester United squad was going to get us into the Championship.
Well, even the manager now, Matt, is in non-league. So, I mean,
that's another conversation, right?
We can sit here and say they'll be up in a few months as much as we like. Currently, it reads 9 players in League 2 and the fucking manager in non-league.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's gone from Wigan in the Championship to Chesterfield in the National League in 2 years.
Yeah, still wearing those armbands. See, I'm not always wrong about a player. I know.
Yeah,
I
mean, look, if people can't get in Colchester's team, why would he get in Ipswich's?
What's the future for him before I bring Crunch in?
I really don't know. I mean, look, McKenna will want to see him, won't he? At least give him an opportunity. Comes back as one of our own players. At least he is one of our own players. And he'll have to get an opportunity in pre-season and see what he does. But, you know, it's the writing on the wall. You can't get in Colchester's team. Why would you get into our either what might be a first League One side or maybe a Championship team? Don't know yet. Can't get it.
Sell or release him, says Lloyd. What do you think, Tom? You've heard the conversation.
Dobra in the bin. He'll go in the summer.
Yeah, where to though? I mean, like, he's hardly whipped up at League Two level.
A League Two team will pick him up. He'll play somewhere in League Two, I'd have thought.
Does the fact that
Coming soon to Talking Town, we interview Armando Dobra. You said in the bin.
Does the fact that Brighton wanted him once upon a time, Rich, really show you and highlight just how much the Premier League stockpile players in case one becomes good? Because you know,
what was the fee? Was it about 300 grand? Wasn't it? I think
Maybe less.
Around that.
Like you say, it's worth taking a chance on someone like him, Matt. And if they show a bit of talent, Premier League team think, right, look at Liam Gibbs. Done well at Town in the academy.
Yeah.
He's gone to Norwich. I think he's sat on the bench twice, not played a minute of first team football.
My heart cries for him.
I know Collins does. But
his bank balance is probably looking quite good.
But that's a really good comparison, because when he is inevitably released by Norwich, it's going to say Norwich on his CV. When Dobra is told in the summer he can go, if he is told that, it's going to say Ipswich, League One, Colchester, League Two. I mean, if you're a football club, let's just pull one out of the AFC Wimbledon, because I've just been talking about them with Colin, the other from MK. Are you going to be looking at player A, which is Gibbs, with Norwich on the CV, Premier League, or player B in Dobra?
Well, it depends, doesn't it? Because if Liam Gibbs hasn't played a minute, he might have been at Norwich, but you can sell like Dobra. You can have someone like Dobra, or not someone as similar as Dobra might have gone to a League Two team and played. Look at Corey and Dabba. He might not make it to Town. At least he's gone and he's played football, mate, hasn't he? He's at Salford.
Yeah.
Tyree Simpson, another one.
Yeah.
I seen him yesterday. It was him yesterday at Millwall's training ground, running around playing for the 23s. So he had a good spell at Swindon on loan.
Yeah.
So you might have a lad. He played at Swindon, scored 11 goals. Similar player, Premier League team, played no football. Which one would you go for?
Well, this is exactly my argument with Liam Gibbs. For me, if I would go for the player from the Premier League, because you would hope he's got a bit more technical training and he's unknown. Dobra at this moment in time,
look at Tom Carroll though. For us, he's got plenty of Premier League experience, and we all sit here going, "He's no bloody good."
That's true. Mark Tuxford. If anyone can get Chesterfield out of the Football League, Cook could be that man, but he needs a star striker. Got to be looking for Aaron Drinan. There you go.
He's gone from the pan to the fire there, isn't he? I mean, that is a difficult league to get out. Only one team goes up automatic. Everyone else is a bum fight for the playoffs. You've got Bromley sitting behind him. He's got Bournemouth.
I listened to his interview, man. I listened to his interview today, and he said the last 2 years he hasn't enjoyed in football, and he just wants to enjoy it. Look, and obviously he's got links to Chesterfield. He was there.
What was not to enjoy about being at Ipswich? He had carte blanche.
Well, I've heard stories from a certain person about what was going on with him, and Cookie wasn't happy with the CEO, and it wasn't a fit. It wasn't a good fit.
No, I agree.
He didn't know anything about the takeover. He's come in with Evans, and then 6 weeks later we've been taken over. So he should have gone in the summer. If you listen to him, he should have left, shouldn't he?
I would have driven. Yeah, I agree. I would have. Well, I wouldn't have cried in the summer if he'd departed the football club, because he never got results from the first minute. Never got results ever.
No.
Charlton 0-0.
Maybe
Northampton smashed.
Would we have got, if he'd gone so early, we probably wouldn't have got McKenna though, would we?
No, that's
true.
It's
everything for a reason, isn't it? I mean, arguably, look, we said, didn't we, privately? We were surprised he was still there after the 5-2 at home to Bolton. It was a disaster of a result, that, wasn't it? Terrible.
Tux asks, would you go and be Cook's assistant at Chesterfield Crunch?
He's got one. He's got one already.
That's the guy who's been the interim manager, right?
He's been interim manager because obviously Rowe, I know what went on there. I'm not going to mention what went on with
Where's the other two then? Where's Jeffers and...
We can leave that. Well, there you go. They're still learning they run the Mike Brown's wing, I reckon.
Yeah, they should be. Yeah.
Anyway, look, listen, shout out to Mike Brown. I'm not giving him any stick tonight. Sending you love, Mike. And if you ever want to chat, we're all here for you, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. You know that. He knows that. Guillotine wanted him gone. Look, I don't fuck about, Mike, all right? Look, you're either in or you're out. And if you're out, there's no point fucking about and wasting time. You're out.
But now is the time for Cook to bring in Jeffers and Roberts, right? Then you trade in the non-league. Not at Ipswich Town.
They're delighted, Matt. If you go on the Chesterfield forums and that, and on They are absolutely delighted he's gone back there.
Oh yeah, it's like, I suppose, it's someone who's had success there previously, won titles and has gone back. Yeah, absolutely.
Glenn, Mr. Start, what hours are we on? Well, I'm on non-alcoholic because I'm on antibiotics for tonsillitis. See, you can tell my other place. Rich, what is that?
19 crimes. Thank you very much, Colin Plum.
Again.
Colin,
you've only just
Colin, your love for a Luco, you can just calm down.
Right, Matt, please be on away day.
I'm not, unfortunately. I'm on Australian Strads. Let me just shout out Glenn. I've known Glenn 15, 20 years. Good lad.
Have you? Poor Glenn. No wonder he's asking what hours we're on. He wants to fucking get bladdered. Out the last 20 years. Lee Bayliss. Here, Mike. There's always friends on here if you need us. Absolutely. Mike can't drink today. Was at a broadcast awards last night. Feel very tender. Oh, did you win? Let us know. Leighton, first time I've seen Crunchers singing away at Donny. What a brilliant atmosphere. You weren't singing.
Rich, when I've sat next to Rich at the FA Cup games, it's very quiet.
Yeah.
I'm very vocal.
You saw me. We'll see how vocal you are tomorrow. Matt said he's coming in ultra mode tomorrow.
Yeah.
When you're sitting in the middle of the Magnus stand and you've got people about 70 around you, and if you actually say anything, they look at you thinking,
we call him Colin.
Can you?
Yeah.
We love him. No, but if you are watching this show, make sure it's an away day beer. You got the beat, the butcher's bandage. My favourite is Hoppy Robson. That is a beautiful
Bundeslager. That's a great one.
Bundeslager. You never know. There might be a talking tan or a gov out on the way. Shh, I don't know. There might be whispers.
Stacks. Canadian
Stacks.
lager.
Yeah, man. A fruit lager, because where Craig's born, their speciality is fruit beer. So it would make sense from that perspective.
Good global beer knowledge there. Right.
I had to Google it, to be fair. But Rich, character Chaplin was the selected player this week. Here's what the energetic forward. Yes,
Connor Chaplin available. If you haven't seen it, great interview.
Just another player we've interviewed this year.
Just another one. He says, 1 week, for example, I could be in the team with certain players up front, and the next time I'm playing, it's alongside two different forwards. Midfield can change, and that's done with skipper Sam Morsey, 7-4-game suspension. That mindset is very important if you're going to be a successful side, because each individual brings something different, and the manager has to decide on his best starting lineup. So you've gone on record as saying the club didn't have the right characters at times, or the makeup was wrong, etc., etc. What the club did, and I'm going to be honest here, get some of the 19 signings wrong in the window, is one thing they've definitely got right: the recruitment of strong characters. Like, we appear to now have really decent, strong characters within that dressing room.
Well, we'll see tomorrow, because you're taking 7K there to Milton Keynes, and that is going to bring its own type of pressure, Matt, isn't it, tomorrow? There's a lot of people going there for the first time this season. You're travelling, expecting to see them put on a performance. And that puts pressure on them. And they're going to have characters tomorrow to stand up, because it's not going to be... We had 75% of the ball, didn't we, last Tuesday when we were at Doncaster. Milton Keynes are a team who like to dominate the ball. So there's probably going to be spells in this game tomorrow when you just got to sit in the game. And you are going to need characters tomorrow, Martin. We can't be sitting here on Sunday and it's been another missed opportunity. Tomorrow, they have to deliver, and you have to show the character to go there tomorrow and get a result, because I don't want to be coming out that ground at 5-5 and it's another not turned up performance away like it was Sheffield Wednesday, like it was Bolton, because we won't get many more chances this season.
But you are notorious for I wouldn't want any of these, whatever you've said, in the trenches with me. Would you want some of these in the trenches? That
was a previous regime.
Yeah.
Half of them. Look at them now.
Who are these characters we're talking about? Who have you labelled as a character?
Edmondson, Chaplin, Morsey,
definitely
a big character. I think even Joe Pigott is a really big character, because to go through what he's gone through, seemingly with a smile on his face and not being moved out, so he must be a good character. Caden Jackson, told you not wanted, stayed here, worked hard, fought to get back in the rotation. Luke Wolfenden, like, there's really a collection now, it seems, Matt, of just the right characters. Before you go any further, I've got to quickly shout out Stephen Latmer. Hey guys, it's been a while. We'll forgive you. Just found out my other half is betting. Top shagger, Stephen Latimer. So happy. Let's hope for a massive 3 points tomorrow. The Latimer. Get in, son. Back of the net. Congratulations.
Well done.
Cook got those, the majority of those characters you're talking about, Cook got them in, didn't they? It's a bit like Paul Jewell actually made some good signings, didn't he? You know, whether you think of Chambers, whatever. DJ Campbell, Aaron Cresswell, which was then kind of like the team that McCarthy kind of built around. So maybe history's repeating itself a little bit. Cook's got in some characters, and McKenna will see the fruits of that recruitment, maybe.
I want to know what Latimer's been drinking. Tom Carroll's had that. Obviously, where are you? Is he there to play for Droge, do you reckon? There's something in that old, the water spring over there. Like the training ground's gone off this year, and now Latimer's expecting as well. Congratulations! I'm so happy for you.
Not a lot on the telly these days, is there?
Yeah, just don't tell my wife where the spring is, because she will be down in it. She's already asking me. Like, I don't know about this. I don't know. Rich, you got 3, ain't you? Or was it 4?
3.
3. I can never keep up with you, to be fair. As in,
well, I haven't had a child for 11 years.
You're overdue then, son. You better nip off.
No more for me.
Mike D, has the McKenna striker lottery draw happened yet? Who plays up top? Carl Brooks, all this shows how good McKenna is giving the belief to these players. New play style, new system, getting results as well, which a happy squad allowing their character.
Well, isn't it funny? Like he says, a happy squad, but isn't it interesting when you're winning and you're doing well?
Yeah,
everybody's fit.
I thought Tuesday night was a great performance. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought Backinson was my man. 3 years. No need to go there, Tux. No need to go there, son.
Hey, Tux, we don't even know, son, if you're firing blanks yet, so just be very careful.
All right, fellas. All right. Jesus. All right.
Yeah, I thought Tuesday was really good. I was really impressed with Backinson. Brought a real presence to the middle. We've missed that side, and with Moulsey not being around.
Did you say he was man of the match?
Yeah.
Who? What game were you watching?
Backinson.
He was dreadful until he scored.
No, a worldie.
He was.
It was a worldie, though.
He brings a real presence.
It's a worldie from 3 yards off his shin.
That's what he called it. He called it a worldie.
They all count.
I thought we played really well. We were never in danger of conceding in that game, I don't think. And it should have been more than 1-0. I thought Backinson was good. Controlled the middle of the park. Scored the goal. He was there for the goal. Good performance. Enjoyed it. Look, he's speechless.
I am.
Who was your man of the match Tuesday then?
I can't remember fucking yesterday.
Dominic Thompson was my man of the match. Or Chaplin.
Why? So you can't say anything, can you?
Honestly, I've had a fever for the last 24 hours. I can't remember past yesterday. My mind's like...
Thompson did play. Yeah,
my mind's like, what happened this week? I have to watch the shows to piece it together.
Backinson got better as the game went on, mate. I'll give you that.
I just thought he had a real presence in the middle, and that's where we've been lacking a little bit with like Carroll in there, for example, and Evans against Gillingham, and we've kind of complaining in that game.
Well, we will come to our 1 to 11, but I will tell you that Backinson is in mine for tomorrow.
Mine too.
Super. All right, let's move on now to
goal scorers.
Still Connor Chaplin, Matt, rotation. Something that's featured heavily, obviously, earlier in European football. I know you're a big fan of European football. It's obviously made its way over here eventually. Started, I think it was with Ranieri, the Tinker Man. Chaplin, when pressed about McKenna's rotation, had this to say: the way you take it, if you're not in the team that starts, is a personal thing. You need to get your head around it. It's a big part of the game these days. No one can guarantee you're going to play in every game, but the way you give yourself the best chance is obviously to perform when you are selected. And also put in the hard graft in training, regardless of whether you started the last game or you came off the bench. Positivity is what you need. And like I said, that should be the whole squad thinking as one. It's important that everyone feels involved, and that obviously applies to all the players. I can't stress enough how vital it is that we have the attitude that we're all in it together. That's what the boss is creating here, and hopefully it can be special. So this, he did say more, but I can't read it with my throat. This approach is huge now, particularly within the Premier League. But some of our fans, let's be honest, some have said this ain't the Premier League. Others have said managers normally come with a style and a way of playing. So how do you view this rotation, every game different mentality?
Yeah, good. Because, it shows flexibility. And that was one of the things we were kind of lamenting of the Cook regime, wasn't it? That it was always this 4-2, 3-1. And it was too rigid. He wouldn't break away from that. And even if you watch McKenna's interview after the game, Rich, on Tuesday, he's talking about options they've got up front, with it be 2 split strikers, 1 striker, 3 strikers. It's refreshing to hear. I mean, you've got a younger manager. He's not been around the block like Cook has. He's not as hardwired to a particular formation than what Cook has got. So, I mean, that's the energy of youth, isn't it? Someone who's inexperienced as a manager, picked up a lot of ideas as a coach. He's probably got an abundance of ideas now, wants to try them all at once, which is why you're seeing all these kind of different options and different player options.
It's going to be interesting tomorrow, Matt, because you say about McKenna's a young manager, so is Liam Manning. They're both, it's his first season.
Yeah.
I did say to Martin they will be in the playoffs, and I think when Liam Manning went there, Martin actually predicted they'd get relegated.
I said there'd be a relegation battle because I didn't think he'd take to it as well as he has done. That said, had we had McKenna earlier and I'd seen it firsthand, my ignorant opinion, if I'm honest, would have been different. But my ignorant opinion back then was, and this is me being honest, he's a young manager. He won't take to it as quickly as they want him to. And I think they're going to struggle. Hey, it was ignorant. It was wrong.
Yeah, he's just carried on. Russell Martin's good work, hasn't he, really, there at MK? Yeah.
How are they even second? How's that happened? But they've got like 3 games in hand on them, haven't they? But
they're third, aren't they?
Third.
Second.
Third.
It's second on my live table I was looking at just a minute ago. Is there a game going on right now? I
thought they were third on midweek's show when we looked.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The point is rotation, and because I do go along with some people. It isn't the Premier League. You haven't got those riches in depth, and managers normally do have a style but it's the every game different. It's new even to me.
But we have the riches, don't we? We have the riches to rotate in them front 3 positions, which is the main position we're changing, isn't it? Like your 3 in the middle at the back are playing. You've got your wing backs now with Burns and Thompson. Obviously, he's rotated a little bit in the midfield, but he's had to, hasn't he? Because he's had a few injuries. But them front 3, he sort of keeps. It'll be interesting what he goes with tomorrow because, Selena and Chaplin. I thought they both had a good game the other night. I think Matt thinks Selena didn't have a good game because he's in the Selena out of the club, doesn't deliver.
Hang on, you thought he played well Wednesday?
I thought Selena had a good. If you watch it, he's laid 2 on a plate for Bond. Now we can all look about how many assists he's got. That one in the second half, he's gone down the wing. He's put a beautiful cross in. Macaulay Bonne is 5 yards out. It's not Selena's fault that Bond can't bury it.
I thought Selena was good on Tuesday. It was his. I think it was his build-up that actually led in the end to his, tenacity on the right flank for the Backerton goal. I thought he did well, but I was expecting him to do well because we were playing against a team that's in the bottom 4.
I don't remember much from this week, but I do remember him not playing very well. That's my opinion of it, but that's the way. But you were there, so I'll take your opinion.
I thought he played a little bit. They played a little bit better down the left-hand side because normally we've got a lot coming down the right, and the left has been a sort of weak. But I thought him and Thompson, they combine quite well because he's played in the 10, hasn't he, Matt, and hasn't really sort of shone. But he was sort of more back to where he played a little bit when he had the loan spell under McCarthy. He was out on that left-hand side.
Right, big up David, £5. And he sent me a picture today of the whiskey glass he bought from the town shop and the Talking Town mug he got. Nice. Talking Town mug was much sexier and a better price. Absolutely. He's winning it.
I thought Selena did well, but I mean, but he always does well against these bottom 4 sides. If he does start tomorrow, I said on last Sunday, he needs to step up against a promotion. I'm still calling him a promotion rival, even though we're not top 6. He needs to have an impact against a team that's pushing for promotion.
Was it on Wednesday's show, Martin, when I think TJ brought up about you don't know how he's recovered from COVID? I think it was TJ said that, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
We don't know that. We don't know what he's been through. He hasn't had a pre-season.
Oh my God, Martin, press mute.
Sorry, I thought I muted that. Sorry, I thought I had muted.
Sorry, everybody.
I thought I had. Sorry. I thought I had. I will trim that out. I honestly thought I'd muted that. Sorry.
While you were coughing, Matt stuck a tenner in the bin. There we go.
Thank you very much, Matt. I appreciate that. I really do. You know me, I'm a Halo. I won't be doing nothing naughty. But yeah, appreciate that.
Well,
Sorry.
You're right. But I mean, that again, Rich, you are right. And what TJ says is right. We don't know. We don't know.
Yeah,
you don't know what happens behind the closed doors of the dressing room. But that in itself makes that signing a risk. You're now going to be League One's highest paid player, but we don't know how fit you are. That's not good. That's not a good business deal, in my opinion.
Right. I definitely muted that one that time. Right. I thought I had the first time. I'm so sorry to those watching it at home. I don't want to make anyone's ears bleed. Right. Kieran McKenna now. We've got a couple from Kieran, and then we've got our guest joining us for
I've told Aiden to wear his tin out. Get his tin out because I want to give him some grief.
What is it you want to know from an MK Dons fan? What is it you want to tell him? You want to tell him something, didn't you?
What, MK a tin pot?
No, there was something else. I'm sure there was something else.
No,
I'm sure.
not a proper club.
They not a proper club shouldn't be in existence. Oh, that's it. Yeah, come back.
You said that. You agree with me?
I swear to God, my hands are clean in this one. To nick Shawn Michaels quote, my hands are clean.
I didn't say clean in this.
I don't really get why people still like call them franchise FC and all that. I mean, how many years ago was that? I mean, get over it. Look, you're on an equal foot with AFC Wimbledon now. I don't really get that.
Yeah, well, they're not. Don't ever say that because I've just been listening to Colin and I think they're saying mind the gap at the moment because they're.
What I mean by that is they're in the same division. Status wise.
Yeah, imagine what that's like, being the same as your rival. Right, Kieran McKenna on training methods. One of the most satisfying moments as a coach when you're seeing things that you've worked on the training pitch, that you've spoken about in meeting rooms, whether that's a team concept or even individually, when you see that coming off on the pitch. Right, a question people would often ask, Rich, under Cook is, what's our style and what are we trying to achieve? So I'm going to ask you, the club merch king, what's our style and what are we trying to achieve under Kieran McKenna?
Well, we keep the ball. If you look at the stats over is it 8 games, Matt? He's been in charge now. Yeah, 6 wins, 2 defeats. If you keep the ball, the opposition are not going to score. You know, that is simple, isn't it? Simple.
Don't concede, you don't lose.
And we've kept 5 clean sheets in 8 games. Tightened up at the back. We give a lot of goals away early season, didn't we? And tossed 18 points, I think it was, Matt, in the bin. But yeah, we like. I like watching us play. I agree with you, Matt. I know some people were moaning the other night. Oh, it's boring. You know, I said on when I come on Wednesday, I think the team are quite methodical, like the manager. You know, I think he's quite methodical at the minute how he sets them up. And it might not be exciting. I listened to it. I went on Suffolk after the game on Tuesday, and I was listening to Alex Maffey before I come on. He doesn't like the way we play. He said it wasn't just Town. He said it's football in general nowadays that teams do keep the ball. It can be a bit boring. I don't disagree with him, but that is football in 2022. That's how it's played, isn't it? Short out from the goal kicks, you know, trying to break the press.
Yeah,
that's how it's played. You just have to get on with it, and we're doing well. I think we're a little bit braver on the ball, Martin, as well now. You know, we play in these tight areas, and it's not always going to come off. We know that. But I think McKenna will be the type of manager to say, look, take the ball there, like Edmondson when he gave the ball away against Sheffield Wednesday. If we lose it there, look, I won't blame you. That's how I want you to play. And that is how we play. So I'm enjoying what I see so far. So far, so good.
Okay. Stephen Latmer, does anyone know what this whole Jack Wilshere story is on TalkSport? What he joined Ipswich? Matt, do you want to take that one?
Yeah. Jack Wilshere.
What a load of
say what I said on WhatsApp? Actually, me and Glenn were on an England youth trip once with Jack Wilshere back in 2009. I'm not going to say anything about that, but he hasn't got a club at the moment. Draw your own conclusions.
For me, it was just radio chatter, banter, content creation.
Yeah, just having a bit
of sport full of absolute shit.
Well, it's been picked up.
Nonsense.
TalkSport,
utter nonsense.
Whatever next, if who was it? Was it Melvin from Melvin, Charlie, and Ricky during the week that said just Town? What's he going to fuck? What we going to sign in next? You mentioned Town, just because. No, it's fucking nonsense. Yeah, absolute nonsense.
Would you take Jack Wilshere though? Would you take in the chat if Jack Wilshere was available? Would you take him at Town?
Good question.
You've already got to play with Premier League pedigree that isn't exactly pulling up trees in Carroll. So why would you bother?
I thought you were saying Luco.
I saw on what I did find funny was I saw on social media when they had the Wiltshire story. I can't remember which outlet it was. They had their picture they showed was him with Teddy Bishop, and I just thought, do you know what? If you can get two players,
was that the West Ham friendly?
Yeah,
I see that one.
I mean, you literally just reminded me why I wouldn't want Jack Wilshere, because Teddy Bishop's been injured more times than he's able to play as well.
Yeah.
No from Ant Steele, no from Eddie Spaghetti, a no from Mike D. 50-50 says EJ Norris, no from Neil Perks. Curtis says yes to end of the season. Carl Brooks, if he can stay fit, you take him, but he's got knees made of biscuits. Kev, yes, but pay as you play. They don't seem to do that anymore, pay as you play.
That's going back to kind of McCarthy era, isn't it?
Yeah, back in the day. Right, Matt, back to the rotation. McKenna, when he was appointed, some of the keywords that we were told about McKenna is he's teacher-like, he's a strong communicator, and I think I even saw a leader somewhere. So regarding selection, McKenna had the following to say. Very often in football, for the players who haven't played so much, when you feel like you're not having a big part to play in the team, that's very often when an injury or a suspension comes along, and all of a sudden you're thrust into the middle of it. It's very much about reinforcing to the squad that it's a squad game now. It's about the 22 or the 24, or not about the 11. Even when you're not playing or starting a game, it's about how you contribute from the bench, or if not on the bench, how you contribute to training. So, are we seeing the dividends of that, of those comments now? Because from the outside looking in, I'll put my fan head on here. Rotation and being left out can cause confidence issues. We often hear it. So-and-so's played well. What sort of confidence? Like Luco recently, is that going to dent his confidence?
Yeah.
Well, so go on.
You said it in the week, didn't you? You went, where the hell's Piggott gone?
Exactly.
Nowhere to be seen. Now we have to think with this rotation, etc. It's probably going to be around the squad tomorrow, at least on the bench. You would have thought, but I think probably a lot of that thinking he has got from continental managers, Pochettino, Mourinho, the short time he's had with Ranić. You said it right at the top of the show. It's a very European way of thinking and working, and I think he's probably bringing that to town. But we've got that, haven't we? We've got that luxury right now for this season in terms of the 19 new signings. As Rich said, you've got some riches on the bench. Now, whether or not they actually contribute, it's never matter. But on paper, you've got names and you've got people that come with good pedigree. Look at Piggott, 20 plus goals last season. We spoke to Matt from Gillingham last week. He'd love to have had him in there, starting line up with Dane Oliver, no doubt.
Is that where the strong communicator, the teacher comes into play? Because some managers attempt it, get themselves all turned inside out, can't communicate, and it goes wrong for them. Whereas McKenna's attributes when he was signed were those.
I was watching McKenna's interview yesterday, I think it was, and they had a different camera angle of him. He looked really young. He's 35 years old, But I mean, he's kind of like Cook was a manager. We know that he was a manager. He was old school. He had his way of thinking. And McKenna's so fresh to the game in his first job. It almost reminds me of almost like an Arsene Wenger character. You can't really imagine him giving a bollocking in the dressing room. Even if things are going badly, I feel like he would probably get into that teacher mode, and it'd all be quite calm. You see stories of Roy Keane karate kicking tactics boards. I mean, you're not going to get that from him. I feel like as Craig said to us on Sunday night, John Lara would come in, chilled out, make himself a cup of tea. Then he'd say, right, this is how we're going to try and win the game. And I think probably McKenna's cut from that kind of cloth, albeit in a more modern way than like John was an East Ender, wasn't he? But
how about yourself, Rich?
No, I think days of managers coming in, throwing teacups about, I think that's gone. And players nowadays, you have to treat them differently, don't you? Look, you only have to see the Man United players. Look how the managers they've had, Mourinho, Van Gaal, obviously Ollie, who was there the other night watching Town. Big up, Ollie. Now he's watching Ipswich, supporting Ipswich, apparently.
And Carrick.
Carrick was there as well. But I think they have to treat players differently nowadays. And like Joe Piggott the other night, he played all right, didn't he, last Saturday against Gillingham? He was okay.
I thought so.
And it's interesting that conversation that Kieran's going to have with him, look, Joe, you've done well, but, you're going to have to sit this one out, because he's looked at that game, hasn't he? And he's probably thinking, I've got James Norwood on the bench. Piggott probably brings similar attributes to Norwood, doesn't he, Matt? And he's probably thinking, Caden Jackson, bit of pace. I need another defender on there. And then tomorrow, like you say, I wouldn't be surprised if... we wouldn't even be surprised tomorrow if Piggott was lining up, starting the game.
Absolutely not, no.
It wouldn't surprise me. But it's them conversations that he has, and you've got to get everyone on board. And I think that's another reason why he's probably trimmed down the squad, because we probably had too many players. We probably have too many players even now, We've still got a lot of players.
What's the ideal number then, I wonder? What is the ideal squad number, again?
22, 23, I would have said.
Yeah.
What did we win the UEFA Cup with?
Oh, football's changed. Football's changed from those days.
Yeah.
But I brought up the sort of some of the labels he was sort of labelled, if you like, because most of those, from my memory, I might be wrong, was sort of used to sort of hit him as with a stick. His teacher, like and I actually think that really serves him well with this mentality, because you're able to demonstrate and teach, but you're also able to get across your point and really bond, if you like, with these players, but maintain that level of manager and
I think that style, that attitude, that kind of personality probably suits League One a little bit better, because people are going to be, even though he was young, and that's where I had my reservation that people might be thinking, who the bloody hell.
I've got a question for you two. I know when he came in with Parrott, and I know Matt said about bringing someone else in. Do you still think in the summer that he'll bring someone else in?
Doesn't need it.
Yes, a good point. Yeah, I really thought a more senior figure would come in, but I can't.
Doesn't need it. Doesn't need it.
But I think that's what I was going to say. The fact that he comes into League One, he's dropped from the Premier League, Champions League football into League One. I think that has all instantly commanded respect from our players. The players that he's rubbed shoulders with at United and Spurs and what have you. I think it's probably part of the appeal. Whereupon I thought maybe his young age would count against him a little bit, because he's almost young enough to be Cook's kid, isn't he? What was it, 18, 19 years?
Yeah. Chris Boyd, you can already see McKenna as a Premier League manager in 5 years' time. Hopefully that's still a fortress.
I said that to Lee Brown at the statue last week. I said, when McKenna does eventually leave Ipswich, which he will, because nothing lasts forever, it will probably be because he's gone on to... And
I think Sky will love him, because Sky, it's Man United, it's Mourinho. He's could be a good poster child for the stats. The football's being driven by now, and I think, I'm really excited for the future for him. But I just hope we're with him. Glenn, confidence, character, etc. versus ability. I've never given it much credence before, but it's obviously a huge issue. Modern day managers are as much psychologists as they are managers.
It's interesting when I said my goat on Sunday was about these old managers who are getting recycled. And we've gone down the route of a young, untried coach. And I think some of these clubs, like your West Broms, they could take a leaf out of Town's book.
They could.
We've probably all really taken a leaf out of Blackpool's book. I think that was probably part of the thinking as well, wasn't it? The season before, the 20-odd, the 2 defeats in the 20-odd, Critchley coming out of Liverpool. It's very similar to that, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's it. You just need one, though, don't you, to make it a success. And everybody else looks at it and follows.
As everyone remember, if you watch Sunday, I was going to the pub for lunch. And when I got into the pub, these two fellas at the bar were going, Pulis, Parrott, Allardyce. I thought they've been watching the show. They talked about West Brom's dino managers.
It was bad. It really. It's Steve Bruce. Right. We're going to bring it. We've got 7,000 fans. Although actually, I've got the actual figure here from Mr. Butler. Does either of you want to have a guess at what the actual figure for tomorrow?
Which is already tweeted it, I think.
Go on, Em.
7221.
I was going to say. Yeah, I was going to say it's 7-6. I was going to say 725.
Yeah, 7,221 is what Colin has told me. Here we go. I just want to clear this up before we go any further. Lewis Clements, do you think Ollie and Carrott could join backroom staff? Matt?
No.
Matt was floating it like it was a credible idea midweek.
Who, me?
Yes. I saw you replied to somebody. Oh, well, I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, that was to Lee Anderson. I was only joking. But it would be good, wouldn't it?
You got more 7,000.
Listen, if you're in that 7,000 tomorrow and you're over 6 foot tall, don't be standing in front of me, or there's going to be issues.
Just don't go near Matt Phillips, full stop, really. But
I'll get the crunchy on you.
But yes, 7,000 fans making the trip. We've got a guest joining us for this next segment. We're going to get his perspective on the fixture. We'll get the boys' perspective on the fixture. Then we've got a player connection quiz. Yes, there's 2 of you, but can Town take the first blood on our Friday night? Then 1 to 11s, and then the score prediction. But first, we must hear from. We must, but I want to hear from me, but about our partner, Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection. Hello, you lovely lot. I am here very quickly to discuss Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection, run by Ipswich Town fan Graham. So you know you're in good hands if you go with Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection. I want to discuss the income protection service they do with you. You all know me and you all know my story. Literally, one day I went out into that big wide world, the scary world, and I had an injury which left me disabled and unable to work. Just like that, I lost my income. Just like that. That's a click there. Crazy. This may have been an answer to a prayer, because obviously when you can't work, you can't earn. And when you can't earn, your bills are still going to be there wanting to be paid, like children needing to be fed. This could have been an answer to my prayer and taken some stress away from me and let me focus on my mental and physical health. Income protection insurance, it's not for everybody, but it might be for you. So give Graham a call on 01636 337 447 or email graham@woodpeckermortgages.co.uk. And I must say, your home may be repossessed if you do not keep up repayments on your mortgage. You know it makes sense, you lovely people. He's a sexy lad, that one. Don't know who he is. But,
you was reading that out like you get on the radio. You know when they do the terms and conditions at the end, they read it really quickly.
You can see, I laugh to myself. I'm thinking it's income protection. So have I got to say this really? Because I doubt if you don't keep up your payments with income protection, you're going to lose. I mean, you might do, but yeah, check it out. Honestly, someone who's lived that experience, it is well worth checking out. Or you could, just in case you don't, you could be me. You can become a YouTube member. $4.99 makes every show about 20p. You get me off my sick bed. You get 3 shows right after it. Look, great value. Yes, it's $4.99. Become a YouTube member. I wish I'd got into income protection. Never mind. Right, our guest now is an MK Dons fan. He's a friend of yours. Crunch, you've got a lot to tell him, a lot to say to him. You want to sit him down, man to man. You introduce him.
He's a good lad. Aidan, he's a season ticket holder, Matt, in the Cowshed.
The Cowshed?
The Cowshed.
I want to know who Aidan supported for MK Dons. That's my
there
first.
You go. You can ask him.
I've always wondered.
You can ask him. Bring him in. We can ask him. How
you doing?
Not too bad, fellas. Good to be on. It's my favourite podcast crew. Always pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure.
You get that every time, Aidan. Who did you support before?
I do, yeah. I mean, I was going to say Norwich just to throw who do you hate more. But...
You've made a good choice going to MK then in that.
Yeah, you've upgraded.
No, I'd say I was one of those terrible ones from the dark side that followed Wimbledon, but I didn't live in the area, so I lived up Milton Keynes Way anyway, so it kind of made sense to stay with them.
Let me tell you, Aidan, if I was been more of an impressionable child in the mid-'80s, I used to love the Wimbledon team with Dave Bassett, Vinnie Jones, Sanchez. You know, if I'd already chosen Ipswich, they really did appeal to me, especially when they won the
cracking team. Cracking team. I remember going to the FA Cup in '88, just a fantastic day out. I mean, again, completely no chance given to us whatsoever, and to pull that off, just a cracking result. Characters
in 1 to 11, there were characters, weren't they? From John Scales through to Vinnie.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, brilliant team back in the day, and hark for some of those personalities these days, really.
Yeah.
Really good. You get a lot of fans calling MK, Tim Pot, Franchise City, Franchise FC, etc. So how was it for you as a fan of Wimbledon, living through that transition? Because when I spoke to Colin, he said to me on the last show, he's even got death threats.
We all have, to be fair, on the Supporters Association. We get it again all the time. You've got to take it serious, but at the same time, most of it's just keyboard warriors. But I think for me, and again, I appreciate there'll be AFC fans who will vehemently disagree and will say whatever we say is wrong. But from my perspective, and I can only talk from my perspective, is look, the club, and people say Pete stole the club, blah blah blah. Look, for me, Sam Haman, the Norwegians, they ran the club into the ground. Absolutely ran it into the ground. That's where the blame lies squarely for me. Is look, the club wouldn't have got into the sorry state WFC did if it wasn't for the previous ownership. The way they mismanaged, lied, twisted. The ground moving out from Plough Lane to Selhurst Park was never sustainable. It was always going to go bang at some point. And he did. And I think that's the issue, is then you had that split in division between fans. You had sort of the ones who wanted to sort of drop out, if you like, and start again. You had the few of us who wanted to carry it on. And it was a really toxic environment to be in, and it's one of those that I think it's easy for the history to get distorted. It's easy to say, well, this, that, or the other, but unless you've lived through it, unless you remember that time, it's really difficult to sort of sit there and hear some of that stuff. But, for me, Pete, rightly or wrongly, he's already said if he had his chance again, he probably wouldn't do it. But, it is what it is. We are where we are. And what's interesting, particularly for me as a fan going around to away games every week, is more and more people are just getting sick to death of this victim sort of playing of AFC. There's this whole piece that their whole ethos is about their hatred for us. If they focus that energy on their own club, they could be doing really well, and it's like, worry about yourselves, worry about the future, move forward. And, actually, for me, I love my club, but, to me, it is Wimbledon. There's already spit and hate and God knows what about it. But, it is what it is. And I think, even for you guys, probably as a bit of an analogy there is, your owner's got 2 franchise teams in the US. Franchise football over there is a standard thing. And you talk to America, like, what the hell's the problem? Over here, obviously, we're far more traditional, and it's that sticks in the claw. But, you look at certain Newton Heath, aka Manchester United, there's clubs that have done it years and years ago. But it's because the time's gone on and it's forgotten, and social media and that presence wasn't around at the time.
I went to that game at Selhurst Park. It was more Ipswich fans there than was Wimbledon fans. I think when a Norwegian guy who was in charge of Wimbledon.
The Norwegian consortium that bought it off, because again, that was when the talk of moving to Norway, Dublin, all sorts was going on. I remember one of the games that always sticks in my memory was at Selhurst Park. It was against Pompey in the Championship. We had 20 Wimbledon fans there and 2,500-3,000 Pompey fans. And, you can't sustain a club if that's the kind of response you're going to get. And again, part of the reason why it fell on its knees.
I remember going to watch Wimbledon at the hockey stadium in Milton Keynes. In about 2005 when Joe Royle was in charge.
Yeah, back in the day. And as I say, again, when the club came to Milton Keynes, there's all that interest about all new club and and everything that went on with it. But I think it's a success story, whether people like it or not. Everyone keeps going, you're going to go bust, you're no good. But we've been there 17 years. I've heard that story every year. And Pete's a shrewd businessman. Love him or hate him. The arena, the sort of property that he's built, wrapping the hotel around the stadium. There's money generated. It's a sustainable model, and I think that's for me is I'd much rather have someone there who cares about the club, cares about what we want to do, than someone that's going to do a Derby or a Wigan, a Bury that just turns a quick buck and to hell with the fans. We've seen that so many times, and I think for me, if anything, you hear the EFL all the time talk about lessons learned. We know we never see it. It's just platitudes, and it's look at us. Look what happened to Wimbledon. Look, look what happened to Bury. Look what happened to Wigan, to Portsmouth. Where does it stop? And I'm just, for me, it's so frustrating just seeing all these clubs. Derby's the most recent one, struggling, and it's the fans that suffer. It's not the owners. The owners don't get banged up. They don't get taken to court for fraud or misconduct. It's not right.
Were you in the minority, Aidan, in that you were a Wimbledon fan that went to MK? Presumably, everyone went. The majority of fans went to AFC.
Yeah, at the time it was a bit more convoluted than it probably is now, because again, it's that rose-tinted glasses from whichever angle you look at it. But at the time there was interest of people moving there, and there was a lot of fans that came along. But again, over time, a chunk of those went AFC, and a few, they say like no one would have stayed. They did. There was, I'm not saying there's masses, but there was a good couple of thousand that stayed on. And still do to this day, and I'm really proud. And I've got good friends down in the Kingston and the sort of the South London area who, Wimbledon through and through, but as vehement supporters of MK as they were at the time. But again, I think for me, and being respectful to that debate, it's a matter of choice, and you're never going to agree. But there's, you could argue two clubs formed from one. In terms, that's a very unique situation. But sadly, the toxicity of what happened has made both clubs absolutely despise each other in the main.
Well, as you say, you are still here and you are making a success of it. And this is the league table currently. You are in.
Love to see it.
Well, yeah, I don't, but there we go. You're in third position, obviously, 56 points.
Yeah.
We're in ninth, 47. It's a big game from our perspective. And I know you're calling it our cup final up there. We won't go into that. But talk to us from your perspective. What sort of game are you expecting? Is it as big a game where you are? Do you feel actually, if you beat us, that could really knock another team out of the playoff race?
It's one of those. I think for me, the beginning, obviously Liam Manning wanted the manager of the month. That's always a curse straight away. So I won't mention that too much. But
happy days.
You look at our form since sort of January, and sort of one defeat in there against Doncaster, really, but the rest. Impressive wins at Wickham, at Portsmouth, those kind of places. Again, Portsmouth, we'd never won before this season there away. And for me, we've really built some momentum, and it reminds me of that 2015 season that Dons went up second place. We're only a point behind that tally, or as it stands now. So for me, walking into the season, I had no expectation. Obviously, Russell, the Snake Martin, did the dirty on us at the last possible minute.
You can't trust the Norwich lads.
Yeah, always Norwich, right? They're terrible lot. But no, and I think for our fans, it wasn't the fact he left; it was the way he left. I think that's a bit sitting there 24 hours before saying, "Love the club, I'm here for the long term," and then signing a contract at Bournemouth at half time. He got thrown out the changing room by Lewington threw him out.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I won't tell you what he said, but profanity and the word off after that. Because he basically done the deal behind everyone's back, literally at that game pre-season, the cup game. He was sitting on the bench at half-time drinking a coffee whilst the fans were spiting abuse at him because, again, it's just not the way to do it. If you want to go, you can just say, look, gardening leave, I've got my head turned, I want to have a think about it. And I suppose, going back to the point of the league table, like Liam Manning coming in, no pre-season, no transfer window, coming in, trying to impose a different style of play. And for me, we call it Rust Ball. He was always trust the process, but it's just knocking it about. We had 90% possession and all these stats about you're up there with Barcelona, but we hadn't got the points return. So for me, what Liam's done is come in and brought a purpose to that, and actually given us a bit more direction, and we're seeing the bearing fruit from sort of continuing on what and evolving, I guess, what Russ had started in many ways, but. To be sort of third, the beginning of the season, I'd have been happy with mid-table after the few rocky years we've had. And for me, it's just fantastic. We're at second at one point at Fleetwood, only for a bit, but we were second. I almost wanted to do a Trumpy and stop the count, stop the table. Can we go up now?
Absolutely, yeah.
But no, I'm over the moon with it. I'm absolutely over the moon. I'm enjoying the ride. And I think, again, looking at tomorrow's game, but I think for me, it'll be a bit like the one against you at the beginning of the season, that 2-2. I think both teams play really good possession style football. Both teams don't want to lose. I think that's going to be the whole premise of it. And, again, if we win, that really has a dent to your promotion hopes and putting the playoffs and getting closer to them. If you win, you're closer to it. You're back in the game, if you like, pretty much. So, a lot can hinge on that. Again, we could go second. You could be just, within the shout of the playoffs. And I think with that said, my gut tells me that it will be a ball draw or some sort of, because I just can't see either team wanting to throw it. And again, both teams like to play that attacking football, but will they want to risk it in such a big game? I don't know. I honestly don't know. And if there is a winner, I think it'll be a tight 2-1 either way, something like that.
I think the reasons you said about Liam Manning was the reasons I was going along with I think he'll struggle, because obviously he was thrown in sort of last minute FC. But do you feel, Matt, a defeat for us spells the end of any incredible push?
Maybe not. I mean, we've seen up and down results, haven't we, in this division? I'm sure Aidan probably agrees, So maybe not. I mean, it would be massively helpful to come away with points tomorrow, albeit it'd be great to get the 3 points. But I think if we did lose tomorrow, you're probably only really looking at 6, maybe, that we could scrape, which is a bit of a disgrace, Aidan, considering our wage bill was 9 million. What's your wage bill? 3?
Yeah, well, I think it was 2.9 the last time. So in comparison, it's quite small. But I'm still big, obviously, but. Yeah. I think that's for me as well, the other appointment of things that doesn't get talked about so much at MK is Liam Sweeting, our sporting director, and the actual, I suppose, the tactical brilliance of him, if you like, of replacing players and improving them. So Scott Fraser moves to you, we get Scott Twine in. It's a constant evolution there, and I think the clubs recognise that we can't hold on to our best players full stop. We've got to be a club that trades, but trades smartly. And again, if we're going to knock on players like Matt O'Reilly again coming to us. Fantastic player, and credit where credit's due. I mean, he had offers from Borussia Dortmund and Chelsea, turned him down for regular football with us. Wow. Got his release clause in the shop window. We went to Celtic.
He's at Celtic now, doing well at Celtic.
Oh, right. Celtic. Yeah. What? See, now Fraser obviously has left us, right, to go to Charlton, the sacrificial lamb of the squad. So look, Cook played him out on the left-hand side. Weird. Where can you actually tell us, Aidan? Where did he play for you? What was his strengths and what did he bring to that team?
Yeah, I mean,
no one knows.
It was one of the. I mean, it was a weird season for us because we had him in the one season we couldn't watch him really because it was the COVID lockdown season. But he was in that central midfield, complimenting Matt O'Reilly, and I think that was the key for me. Is, he was a really good player, but having the likes of Matt O'Reilly doing the work next to him, and seeing how good a player now on reflection Matt O'Reilly really was. Yeah, I think that added to his prowess, if you like, in terms of that. And he was effective in that sort of attacking midfield sort of area, whereas putting him in the wing, I think even when you played against us in the 2-2, it was just a really odd decision. And I don't know if that, and again, you guys will probably know more than me, is it because you had that wealth of talent to pull from, and maybe he couldn't get in that centre midfield? I don't know, and it's a shame because I do think he could have done a really good job for you guys, given the chance and given some games.
So do we. I'm going to come to Scott Twine in a minute, but Rich, Colin says it's not Arsenal. With so many fans going, are we over-egging it a little bit? Because it's not Arsenal. It's not Inter Milan. Are we over-egging the pudding a little bit, Rich?
I've got a question for Aidan. What do you think? Because obviously there's over 7,000 Town fans coming.
Yeah.
Obviously, what do you think to Pete Winkleman letting us have that many tickets? Because obviously...
It's not their record.
I think it's nearly 9,000 Wolves, wasn't it? Was the record.
Yeah, I think, Rich, for me, at the end of the day, I mean, the one that always sticks in my mind was the 6K to MK for Pompey, and we beat them 3-1 on that season. We nearly went down. Fans don't necessarily guarantee results. We all know that.
Totally agree with you.
But then, to be quite honest with Pete Winkleman, look, if you're going to get 150, 200 grand from one away day he's following, why not? At the end of the day, that helps pay the wage bills. Being quite frank, and particularly after COVID and sort of money's been tight for a lot of clubs, you'd rip most people's hands off for that opportunity. And joking aside, I sort of joked to a few people that I feel like an away day, but we seem to be doing really well away from home at the moment, so we'll take that as a positive for tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Aidan. There, a lot of people say, 7,000, it means nothing. It means absolutely zero.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? And it's
fans.
You had your 40,000 to go and see Defoe at Sunderland, and they get the 2-1 defeat against Doncaster at home. So what does it mean?
We took a big away following to the Valley against Charlton. Worst performance of the season.
Yeah. I think the point there, Matt, is it's pressure. If you've got a big away following, the pressure to perform is there, and that can play against you as well as for you. In terms of games like that.
It'll play against us. We're not particularly great with pressure, which is why when Colin said about Arsenal, I thought, it's well worth the mention about RBO.
I mean, the one thing I would say is obviously you've got Morsey coming back, so that's a big win for you guys, in terms of having him back in the midfield.
Yeah,
absolutely. Scott Twine, Morsey back, Scott Twine. We're hoping, I suppose, that Sam Morsey can back pocket Scott Twine if that is even possible. Just tell us a bit about him this year and what's his best attribute and how good has he actually been?
It's funny because I ended up bumping into a Swindon fan. We went on our way up to Fleetwood because they were off the tram and we bumped into on the motorway services, and they even said, a couple of seasons ago, we wouldn't have even dreamt that he had the ability to do what he's doing, and he's even surprised them. And for me, you look at him and he's not got that physical prowess of a beefcake, if you like. And what he does with his feet, when he's on it, he is just unplayable. It really is unplayable. That free kick, if he gets the opportunity to get a free kick in a dangerous area, there's a high chance it's going to go in unless you keep his top draw. So I think, again, the Fleetwood game at home's the one that sticks in my mind. It was a 3-3, but he scored all three from set pieces. So, it was a phenomenal. And I think that's the thing. He really is a talent. We've got Rangers sniffing around. You've got Burnley, Norwich, all interested in him. And no surprise for me. I think for me, what I'd love to see with a player like that, I'd love to keep him longer. I think he'll go in the summer window, to be quite honest with you. But, again, we're going to have a good sell-on clause in there, I'm pretty sure. And, he's on a longer contract for those reasons. But, he's made a significant difference for us. But, that's not to say that the team hasn't got that depth, which it was kind of lacking probably the last few seasons. You look at some of the players we've drafted in January, sort of Theo Corbinu, and you've got, Jamie Cumming as well. They're real top talents that we've managed to wrench away from Sheffield Wednesday. And, Theo in particular has been an absolute revelation on that wing, and Cross has been dangerous, scored an absolute belter against Portsmouth for the winner, when we were away from home. Yeah. Coming in goal. I mean, it's just like watching Spider-Man. Some of the saves he's made has just been phenomenal. And it's kind of funny because you think when Andy Fisher went, good keeper that we had, and now it's like Andy who, again, this guy's come in and blown it away. And I, again, just cannot believe that level of quality from such a young, player in the sticks, real mature, to see. And you've then got sort of, Connor Coventry, has come in as well, playing really well. We've just had Kessler Hayden come from Villa. He played against Fleetwood on the wing. I thought he played really, really well, actually, for his first game. Matt Smith, we've just bought as well on a permanent from Man City. So, again, they're building some real quality there, some young up-and-coming players. And I think that's the exciting piece for me, is having a bit of depth. And actually, Liam's now getting the ability to have, choice and how he rotates and how he plays, and has a game plan and players to play to that. And Wickham up front, again, a bit of a gamble because of his injuries and bringing him in. But if that works out, then, fantastic for us in terms of what he could potentially achieve. We've used him quite sparingly. I think, to be fair, last 5-10 minutes of most games, because he's not quite there yet in terms of match fitness. But you can see the skill and quality there already.
Yeah, absolutely. How's Parrott getting on?
Parrott's good. Yeah, I mean, Troy Parrott is, again, it started off really well with the goals and sort of came back from his injury, and it sort of took a bit of time for him to get back up there. But last couple of games, I mean, it's maybe not the sort of the goal threat, but the way he breaks up play, the way he's intercepting the passes, it really starting to make a difference. He's starting to get back to that player we all know he can be. And I think that's the thing for me, is he is a great player. He's got some great, ability there. And okay, the goals maybe aren't quite there yet, but he's always a threat up front. And he causes absolute bedlam. Against Lincoln particularly, hassling their defence and allowing Harry Darling to get on the end of a ball and tap it in on it. But again, just one of those who's got a real quality up front. And it's one of those, again, I think once the ball drops and he gets a couple of goals, he'll be flying again. But again, really, really pleased to have him in the squad and what he brings to the team.
I've just had a tweet from Colin, because obviously there was a murder in the area today, weren't there, Aidan?
Yes, there was.
My missus works in MK, so he's just tweeted me, the stadium is within the area subject to a Section 60 order until after half-time because of a murder inquiry. So don't be alarmed if the police are a little bit more hands-on at the match tomorrow. Just for everyone who's going.
Yeah, no, absolutely, quite right. It's a terrible thing to have happened, but obviously understandable why they'd do that.
Absolutely. Carl Brooks says, wonder if MK will want to do a swap during the summer. Dobra, a fantastic young talent that's currently putting up trees in College Nights under 23s. For Scott Twine, Craig from Portsmouth asked a great question, and we'll move on to some player connection quizzes. Have any sides tried to man mark Twine this season? Should we?
Yeah, I think people have tried, in terms of that. But again, if you're going to man mark, you've got to make sure you're not making a mistake, and you've got to be on it for 90 minutes. It's just one suddenly slip of that, he gets the drop of the ball and it's in. I think that's the thing, is if you're worrying about one player, I think that plays into our game plan a little bit, because it gives our other players like the Corbinews of the world the ability to go unnoticed and cause a threat up front for us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, Rich was really in the summer, Aidan. Twine was top of Rich's
list.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what was interesting? And again, I don't know if the rumours are true, but Pompey went in for him. Apparently, they couldn't afford him. And this is Michael Eisner and all of the money they've got, and then obviously we swooped in for him. But again, just a bit off piece. But looking at Portsmouth, you'd again another team you'd expect to be up there punching, and their squad looks threadbare and poor.
Spending it on the stadium, weren't they, Aidan?
Well, exactly. That's what they, but for me, when they lost to Charlton 2-1, they're out of the promotion race unless some miracle happens. I mean, that's for a club and for Cowley, that's shocking. You should be up there or thereabouts for somewhere like that.
When I spoke to Freddie in the summer, they were very hit by COVID. They
were. Budgets, to be fair,
budgets and whatnot, being a small club. Go on, Matt. Sorry.
I was going to say, maybe we all appointed the wrong managers. Maybe Cook should have gone back to Pompey and we should have had the Cowleys, because
who knows?
They'll probably rip your hand off for that right now.
Aidan. A lot of fans wanted the Cowleys. Well, me and Rich were kind of pushing for them as well, weren't we, Rich?
Yeah. Thomas Legg, who is Aidan worried about from our squad?
Do you know what? For me, it's a difficult, because you've got a really good squad and there's a lot of attacking threat there. But I think Connor Chaplin for me. Just a player I rate really highly. Again, when he's at Pompey, really Coventry, stuff like that. He's done some really good stuff, and on his day, he's just again another unplayable, player for you guys, and I think can cause a lot of damage if unchecked.
Your pitch ain't too good, is it?
No.
Sorry, Richard broke up then. What was that?
I said your pitch isn't very good.
Well, no, I think that's part of the game plan, right? We start growing potatoes, so you can't start running. There you go.
Right, a feature we do on our away day guide is player connections. I've got 4 players. You're gonna have to take 2, Aidan.
Okay.
You 2 can decide who wants player A and player B. I've got a couple of questions, hints, tips, clues to who the player may be. Let's see.
Player A, Rich.
Who can take first blood, MK or Town? Let's go. Player connections. Right, we'll let the guests go first. So this player, his middle name is James. He's a midfielder. He was released by Millwall. He played 79 games for MK Dons, Aidan, scored 6 goals according to Wikipedia between 2016 and 2018.
Keith Andrews.
Boys, do you know who that player might be?
I was going to say Keith Andrews.
Yeah.
Ed Upson.
Ed Upson, yeah. Stevenage at the moment, isn't he? Bless him.
Yep, he certainly is.
Yeah.
Right, who's taking the first player from you 2? Hard truth.
Which is player A? Player A.
Middle name is Leonard. 110 games, 2 goals between 89 and 95, according to Wikipedia. He played for Ipswich. He's played for Watford, played for QPR, played for MK Dons between 04 and 06, 34 games, 1 goal. He is a defender.
Oh, I know that. I know who that is.
Oh, dear.
Does Rich? No good you knowing it. You put Rich first. Does
when
Rich
did he play
know
for Town? When did he play for Town?
Between 89
I think I know who this is.
95. Let's see if Aidan can level the score.
89 and 95. Oh, dear.
I know who that is.
Yeah, I think I know who that is.
No, pass.
You've missed the penalty. Aidan, do you know who it is?
I think it's Steve Palmer.
Yeah.
Spot on the money.
Well, I got him on my list and I didn't bloody say him, did I?
Steve Palmer. Bang. You don't get a point, Aidan, but you've done well. Right.
Did you say he was a defender?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He plays centre midfield for Town.
Well,
he played in goal for Watford in one game, I think.
He did. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I could have said goalkeeper as well, to be fair, Rich. So, you know, but I mean, he was between 89 and 95. I was born in 89. So, I mean, I'm having to go with what Wikipedia is not always correct. So, bear with me. Aidan, middle name is Stuart. 44 games, 14 goals, 15 games for Town, 1 goal. He's a midfielder.
Oh, midfielder.
So his middle name is Stuart. He played 44 games for MK Dons, scoring 14 goals. 15 games for Town, scoring once. He is a midfielder.
Does he still play now?
He's still playing now, yeah.
He still plays now.
Yeah, I can't tell you who he's playing for because that will definitely give it away.
I think I've got him.
I guess
I don't know who that is.
It's not Emmanuel Thomas, is it?
Nope.
No.
Go on, Rich.
Does he play for West Brom?
No, plays for Charlton. Scott Fraser.
Yeah, Scott Fraser.
You've all done what fucking we did. Scott. Oh, we still got Scott Fraser. Oh, fuck, I didn't know you were still here, Scott. I thought I'd throw that in because if I said Charlton, you all would have gone, bang. Right. Last one, Matt. This is it. Can you take first blood? Or is it a draw? This player's middle name is Peter. 13 games for MK Dons on loan. 8 games for Town on loan. Yeah, he's a midfielder. He's currently at Swindon.
Oh, I know it.
He's currently at Swindon.
He plays for Wales, Matt. He plays for Wales. Come on.
I can't tell you that, but Rich can tell you that.
I know, yeah. I think I know.
Plays for Wales. He was on loan when Mick was here. Scored a great goal against
Come on, Rich.
County.
Come on, Rich. Aidan hasn't got that luxury. Come on, Rich.
I don't know. Can't think. We've picked the wrong players here, Rich.
I'll run through him again. Middle name is Peter. 13 games for MK on loan. 8 for us on loan. Midfielder.
What year for us on loan?
Currently at Swindon. I think he scored against... Go on, Rich, if you know the year.
Town. He was on loan at Town, Matt, for about 3 times. Under McCarthy. We signed him 3 times. Played in the Euros for Wales. Come on.
2016. 2016.
He's dropped down to play in League 2 for Swindon.
Currently
he was playing with Simpson. He was setting him up. Come on, you must have seen him. Played for Crystal Palace in the playoff final against Watford.
I'm not giving you that. Not giving you that. He ain't got a fucking clue. Has he? He ain't got a fucking clue up there. He literally did not know his own name in that moment.
Rich, put him out of his misery. Go on.
I was hoping you were going to give me Jimmy Bullock.
No, it's Johnny Williams. So, they're your dogs. They are your dogs. Even Matt, even Rich's dogs are saying, "Come on, Matt." The chat.
Rich's got mine. I've got Rich's.
The chat was going mad. Literally, we're like, "Come on, Matt. This is easy." Christ alive! There you go. We do that on the away day guide. I did that with Colin. He was better than me. I've got to be honest, because I don't get the list ahead of time. Amy has that list. She sent it through to
18 players who played for Town and MK. Did you know that?
There are 18 players. Yeah.
Bullard.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't say those because we just had those on the away day. So if you'd come straight over, then the people at home would have.
Jordan Spence.
Spence. Yeah, we had that midweek, didn't we? Andros Townsend. Lewis Price is what I remember.
Was it Diallo?
Trissa Diallo was there with you, was
Yeah, Trissa Diallo was there.
Oh, I could have done the old foul throw. You would definitely got that one. I love it.
Was it Jake Livermore as well? He was another one, I think, from memory.
Yeah, he's walking red card now, only for West Brom.
Jake, Matt's mate, Chris, called him Jake Livermore on Twitter midweek.
Yeah, no, I don't like him. Yeah,
absolutely loved that. I thought Jake Livermore was brilliant. Right, 1 to 11s. This is Rich's for tomorrow. 3-4-3. Talk to us, Rich.
Aiden's sweating. Sweating.
Going for the back three. Same back three. Wing backs Burns and Thompson. I'm only going for Backinson because I listened to McKenna and he said Lee Evans isn't 100%. So I think for him to play another game in quite a short space of time, I think that might be a little bit of an ask. I think Lee Evans might be on the bench. Selena and Chaplin. I know Colin he'll be creaming himself over Sonny Aluko. Sorry, Colin. Aluko's on the bench. He can come on second half and keep hold of the ball for the last 10 minutes, and you can give him an 8.5. Up front, the central striker is the one that I'm not really sure. You've got Piggott, you've got Bon. I'm going for James Norwood tomorrow. He might not play the whole game, but I think to start with him, he gives you he's got the devil in him, a bit of devilment in him, and he can. How old's Dean Lewington now, Aiden? Is he 38?
He is 37.
Still going, unbelievable.
Or evergreen. I mean, I'd want that guy to go on till he's 50. To be quite honest, absolute legend. But
you mentioned Chaplin, Aiden. Are you not worried about James Norwood?
Yeah, I mean, James Norwood, I think for me, though, I was more scared of him at Tranmere, to be quite honest. He had a bit of an on-off with you guys. But again, on his day, is a great player. I mean, for me, I'm surprised Piggott wouldn't be playing because obviously the AFC connection. I think there'd be a bit more motivation there for him to be in that team. So I think he'll come on probably from the subs bench. But yeah, I mean, Norwood's good. But, Bon and Chaplin, for me, are the two that really stand out for you guys.
Okay. Matt's team is this 3.
I've gone 3-5-2 because I think do you play 3-4-3, Aiden? Is that what you do?
We do, yeah, 3-4-3 or 4-5-1.
I'm packing in midfield against you. So got Walton in goal, and I've got a usual back three here of Donati and Wolfenden in the middle and Edmondson on the left, the fridge. And then Backinson, people don't agree with me with this, Aiden. I thought he played really well on the Tuesday against Doncaster.
I thought he did.
I want that. Yeah, thanks very much. Aiden knows his stuff. So I want that physical presence in the middle of the park.
Backinson,
physical presence.
Well,
you are joking.
This will happen, Aidan. We'll look at this Sunday and we'll find out.
What is he on about?
And then Moles is going to come forward with the ball in that more kind of marauding role, putting the foot in. Evans is to be quarterback. I've got Thompson and Burns as my wing backs, and then I've put Norwood into the team because I feel like we need to fuck you up a little bit. He's going to get into your face. And hopefully Bon is going to...
He never swears. He never swears.
No, he doesn't. We're not feeling lively. And Bon, I want Bon to get back on the goal train. So that's my side. And then I will have Connor Chaplin and Selena from the bench.
Not Aluko.
A bit pear-shaped.
Not Aluko, Matt.
He's not really featured much, has he, recently, Aluko?
Ben Moores would play Burgess over JD.
No, don't be stupid. You're not changing the defence. You've kept 5 clean sheets in 8, Ben.
What do you mean? What games are watching, Ben? Backinson scored the goal.
Physical presence.
Well, not physical presence.
As I've said earlier, we'll find out tomorrow, and then everyone will go, "Oh, Matt was right Sunday."
That's
like calling the man of the match. Now you've said that, right?
It's like calling Johnny Williams a physical presence. What are you talking about?
You've had too many antibiotics and medicine this week. You can't even remember Tuesday.
Score predictions then, Aiden. You're obviously going to go for an MK Dons win, but by how many? What is the score going to be, my man?
I'll be honest. I think it's going to be a tight 2-1. and 2-1 to us. I just, again, I go back to the Portman Road game. 2-2. It was end to end. It's two teams that complement each other's style of play. So I think it's going to be a 1 goal in it, to be quite honest.
No.
Okay. Burgess is a pony, according to Gary Blake. Cheers for the comment, Gary. Matt, is Burgess a pony? No. What's the score prediction going to be?
I did actually say on last weekend show that I feel like he should get an opportunity.
You did.
I paid 750 grand for him.
You've also called Backington a physical presence. So your opinion on
he was, and he will be again tomorrow. If
it's on the decline.
1-1. I'm going to go 1-1 tomorrow.
1-1.
Yeah. So not much is going to change, I think, and we'll have to rely on our 2 home games upcoming to get some more points.
Wouldn't be the worst result in the world. Keeps us there. Rich, what is your score going to be?
I'm going to I'm going to be realistic. I think we're going to lose tomorrow. I think we're going to lose. Honestly.
What?
No,
You never say we're going to lose. You're just saying this because Aidan's on the show.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Friend.
I think it'll be a tight game. I think it'll be an odd goal. I'll go 1-0 MK. I don't think there'll be many goals at all. Matt's team's got no creativity in there. I want to see his.
I've got the quarterback in there, Evans. What are you talking about?
No, we want. If we really need to go there tomorrow on the front foot and have a go at them. I don't want to be coming away where we've left some of our best players on the bench and then brought them on with 20 minutes when we're losing. We need to win that game. Like McKenna said, what did he say, Matt? Martin, what was his phrase about style? He did say, I can't remember what he said. I can't remember what he said.
When did he say it?
It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty, tomorrow. I
Neil
don't
says
think it will be on that pitch. It looks a bit of a muddy, doesn't it? Really, I think you've.
They've been ploughing it for us. Neil says, if we score, we win. If not, we draw. Can you tell Neil, Aidan, just a little bit about what happens when MK Dons go a goal behind?
Every time we've gone behind, we've won it. So I'd take the first goal going against us because some reason that just seems to G us up.
That's a good stat, That's a great stat.
There you go, Harry Butcher. Not a beauty contest. That's what he said, McKenna.
Yeah, there you go. But Aidan, aren't you top of the 4 divisions in that stat category?
Yes, we are.
Must be, yeah. Wow.
So it's an amazing stat. When Colin told me on the way day guide, I was just like, wow, because I would have said score first, you win, but.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those, isn't it? And again, it's because it's who we are, and I think people just overlook it, to be honest. And I think if it's a big clubs do it, then suddenly it's noticed. But it's like usually when we go down a goal, sort of the previous season, you'd be worried. This season, it's like, well, we're going to win. Sort of a bit of a joke, but it seems so far to pay dividends, really.
And on the flip side of that,
how many tickets have you sold for tomorrow's game? Because I know we got 7.
All 3 of us are coming, Rich. Come on.
And their dogs. And their dogs. And their dogs. Don't forget their dogs.
And their dogs. No, I think, to be fair, I think because you've got 7 too, we usually gate, say season tickets and casuals, probably about 7,500, 8,000 most games. So I think it'd be around about even Stevens or thereabouts.
Like a cup final. Right down.
Can I get a decent cup of tea in the car parks, Aidan, at MK?
Well, Casbar, just round the front of the Doubletree. Fantastic. So, decent burger, decent coffee.
For my journey.
Absolutely. But when we go ahead, we notoriously don't win. So I want you to go ahead. You go first.
That's why it'll be 0-0, right?
We were 2 up at Portman Road, weren't we?
There you go.
Yeah, you were.
Absolutely. Ben Moore seed leaves one on Twine will be okay. That's it, Ben. Carl Brooks, Wickham was 6 from 6 at home until we turned up. 11 members, 11 men and a master at the Will and McKenna. We will win tomorrow. Somebody did say earlier it's going to be a McKenna masterclass tomorrow.
Gillingham away was a masterclass, wasn't it? We've not really hit those heights since.
No, we have. But there's always tomorrow. What will happen will happen. It's gonna be an interesting game. I'll be covering it from here. The pre-game show at 1:55 with Coxie and Curtis. Anything else before we depart for the cup final tomorrow with Somerville in it? Not Colin. He'll be hating that term. That's why I said it, just for Colin. Anything else, fellas? Anything else you want to know from Aidan? Anything anyone wants to know from us?
What time you getting there, Rich? 1:30. You're going TGIs or something, aren't you?
I'm going to the Maypole Farm. Do you know where that is, Aidan, on the 421?
I know the Maypole Farm very well, yeah.
Heading in, about 15 miles from MK. Get a bit of grub there about midday. Matt Phillips isn't meeting me because he doesn't like food.
I've got allergies. I don't want to risk it.
Absolutely. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. They'll be there. Talking Town meetup. But if you're not there, or if you are there, you can watch us from 1:55 pre-game, halftime. Well, maybe halftime and post-game show. We've got the away day guide. If you are going to look it up, Colin helpfully.
Park and walk. Is it Park and Stride? It's called.
Yeah.
Park and
Stride.
MK Bowl. Yeah.
For
it's about a 15-minute walk from there.
Google Maps rated it a bit more than 15 minutes, but yeah.
Well, that's what heads the stride.
You get a stride on.
Yeah.
Stride on. But there we go. We're done. We're dusted. Aiden, thank you for your time. Matt,
thanks, Aiden.
Rich, thank you.
Guys.
Become a YouTube
other
member.
than tomorrow, best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Become a YouTube member, subscribe, and we'll see you.